Jake, a 32-year-old mechanic from Chicago, was unusually nervous that morning. He had an important job interview at a prestigious auto repair company. Downtown, one that could change his life. The streets were busy with morning traffic, cars honking and people rushing to work. He clutched his briefcase tightly as he navigated the crowded sidewalk. The winter air was crisp, carrying the faint smell of street food and car exhaust. Despite the cold, his mind was preoccupied with the interview, rehearsing answers and thinking about how to impress the hiring manager. He didn't notice the young woman struggling near a curb. Lily, a 19-year-old woman in a wheelchair, was trying to cross a busy intersection with her mother Victoria by her side. Lily's wheelchair had a broken wheel that made maneuvering impossible on the uneven pavement. Her face reflected frustration and pain as she tried to push herself forward. Victoria, a 30-year-old woman, looked increasingly worried, gripping Lily's shoulders tightly and calling out for help from passers-by. The noise of the city seemed overwhelming to Lily, and her frustration grew as she realized she couldn't move forward without assistance. Jake noticed them just as Lily's wheelchair tipped slightly while trying to climb the curb. His heart skipped a beat, and without thinking he sprinted over. "Are you okay?" he asked, bending down to lift the chair. Victoria's eyes widened, relief washing over her as she stepped back. Jake carefully lifted the wheelchair, balancing it over the curb, with Lily seated safely inside. "Thank you. Thank you so much," Victoria said repeatedly, her voice trembling. Lily, exhausted, offered a small, tired smile. Grateful but unable to speak much, Jake simply nodded, brushing off the thanks. "I'm Jake," he said, extending a hand to Victoria. "Do you need me to fix the wheelchair or get you somewhere safe?" Victoria hesitated, unsure of what to say. She was clearly stressed, her mind racing. That would be amazing," she finally managed. Jake led them to a nearby quiet spot, assessing the wheelchair. The wheel was broken beyond a quick fix, and it was clear that Lily couldn't move it herself. Jake's instincts kicked in. He couldn't just leave them stranded. "Don't worry," he said, rolling up his sleeves. "I'll take care of it." Victoria watched nervously as Jake carried the wheelchair to his small garage a few blocks away. Lily's eyes followed him, her curiosity mixing with apprehension. "Are you sure this is okay?" Victoria asked. "I mean, you were supposed to have an interview." Jake shook his head with a warm smile. "The interview can wait. Right now, you need help, and that's more important." The sincerity in his voice reassured Victoria. She glanced at Lily, who nodded slightly as if understanding that this stranger's kindness was genuine. Inside the garage, Jake began examining the wheelchair. It was older, well-used and clearly customized for Lily's comfort, but the broken wheel and worn-out mechanisms made it unsafe. He studied the gears, bolts and frame carefully, considering how to repair it efficiently. Lily watched him work, fascinated by his precision. She had never met anyone like Jake, someone who approached her wheelchair with such care and determination. Victoria hovered. Nearby, a mixture of worry and admiration in her eyes. Jake didn't rush. He worked methodically, knowing the importance of safety. As Jake worked, Lily tried small movements, testing the broken wheelchair. She winced in pain as it dragged against the ground, making the task frustrating. "Almost there," Jake reassured her, tightening a bolt and adjusting the frame. Hours seemed to pass quickly as he worked with focused intensity, occasionally wiping sweat from his forehead. Victoria offered him coffee and snacks, but he politely declined, fully immersed in repairing the wheelchair. The garage smelled of grease, metal and motor oil, but to Jake it was the perfect environment for problem-solving. Finally, after careful adjustments and improvisation, Jake finished the repair. He had managed to not only fix the broken wheel, but also enhance the wheelchair's maneuverability with minor modifications. "Try it now," he said, pushing the wheelchair gently forward. Lily's eyes widened as the chair glided smoothly across the floor. She moved it herself for the first time in weeks without strain or effort. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she let out a small laugh, a mixture of relief and joy. Victoria hugged Jake tightly, her emotions overwhelming her. Jake smiled, watching Lily navigate the space. "See, not so bad," he said softly, genuinely pleased with her reaction. Victoria continued thanking him, but Jake waved it off, saying, "It's really nothing. I'm just glad she's okay." For Lily, this was more than just a wheelchair repair. It was newfound independence and freedom. She felt capable again, able to move without constant assistance. Jake realized that skipping his interview was worth it. Helping someone in need had given him more satisfaction than any job could. As they prepared to leave the garage, Lily turned to Jake and said, "Thank you, really, you didn't have to do this." Jake shrugged, trying to appear modest. "I wanted to," he replied. "Sometimes the right thing to do is just help." Victoria, still emotional, nodded in agreement. As they left, Jake waved goodbye, his heart lighter than it had been in a long time. He hadn't gone to the interview, but he had gained something far more meaningful, a chance to make a real difference in someone's life. On the streets of Chicago, life went on around them. People hurried by, oblivious to the small miracle that had just occurred in a quiet garage. Jake's act of kindness, though unnoticed by most, had changed the course of Lily's day, and perhaps her life. Lily maneuvered her wheelchair with ease, Victoria walking beside her, both feeling immense relief. Jake watched them disappear into the city's busy streets, a sense of fulfillment settling in him. He knew that this encounter would stay with him forever, a reminder that compassion often matters more than ambition. Jake watched Lily maneuver the wheelchair across the garage floor with newfound ease. She laughed softly, the sound filled with genuine relief, and Victoria's eyes glistened with tears. Jake felt a deep satisfaction he hadn't anticipated. It wasn't just a repair, it was a gift of independence. He carefully examined the modifications he'd made. Reinforced wheels, smoother gears, and a slightly adjusted frame that allowed Lily to turn without strain. "This should make things easier," he said, smiling. Lily nodded enthusiastically, testing the chair in tight circles, her confidence growing with each movement. Victoria placed a hand on Jake's shoulder, gratitude radiating from her. "Jake, this is incredible," Victoria said softly, her voice trembling. "I don't know how to thank you enough. You didn't even know us, and yet—" She trailed off, emotions overwhelming her. Jake shrugged modestly. "Honestly, it's no big deal. I just couldn't leave you there struggling." Lily watched the interaction, a small smile on her face, feeling a rare sense of hope. For the first time in weeks, she felt capable of moving freely without constant fear or dependence. The bond between them grew quietly, built on trust and kindness, and Jake realized this small act might mean more than he could imagine. Jake decided to test the wheelchair outdoors. The Chicago streets were busy, cars honking, and pedestrians walking quickly. He wanted to ensure Lily could navigate safely and confidently. Lily hesitated, gripping the wheels tightly. "Don't worry," Jake reassured her. "I'll be right beside you." Slowly, she pushed forward and Jake ran alongside, ready to assist if needed. To Victoria's amazement, Lily moved with ease over uneven pavement and curbs. Her face lit up with joy and pride, the frustration of the past weeks melting away. Victoria held back tears, overwhelmed by the transformation she witnessed. Jake felt a swell of pride, knowing he had made a tangible difference. After a while, they returned to the garage. Jake wiped his hands on a rag, exhausted but exhilarated. "I think you're all set," he said. Lily spun in circles, testing every adjustment, laughing at the smoothness. Victoria could hardly believe the change. her voice shaking with gratitude. "Jake, I can't believe you did this. And you missed your interview." Jake smiled wryly. "Honestly, it didn't matter. Seeing her move like this, that's more important than any interview." Lily's laughter continued, a mixture of delight and relief, while Victoria looked on, clearly touched by Jake's selflessness and dedication. Victoria invited Jake to sit for a moment. "Would you like some coffee?" she asked. Jake nodded, appreciating the gesture. As they sipped, Victoria shared bits of their story. Lily had been struggling with her disability for years, and her family had tried every possible solution. Yet, nothing seemed to help as much as Jake's simple act of kindness. Lily remained quiet, watching Jake intently, fascinated by the skill and care he had shown. Jake listened, humbly, realizing the profound impact his help had on their daily lives. He felt a sense of fulfillment deeper than anything he had experienced before. They talked about the wheelchair's mechanics, and Jake explained the improvements he had made. Lily listened carefully, intrigued by the adjustments and modifications. "I didn't know you could do all this," she said. Jake chuckled. "Well, it's my job, but I also like figuring things out. It's satisfying when it works." Lily smiled, her confidence building. Victoria glanced at Jake, clearly impressed, and said softly, "You have a special talent, and an even bigger heart." Jake shook his head, feeling modest yet grateful. The room was filled with warmth and quiet joy, a stark contrast to the hectic city outside. As the afternoon passed, Lily tested the wheelchair in small maneuvers around the garage. She spun, turned, and rolled effortlessly, her excitement growing. "I can't believe it! I can do it!" she exclaimed. Victoria wiped her eyes, touched by the moment. Jake felt a sense of pride that went beyond professional satisfaction. It was deeply personal. For hours, they practiced together, refining Lily's movements and ensuring the modifications were perfect. Each successful turn brought laughter and encouragement, a celebration of small victories that meant the world to Lily. Jake realized he had created something that would genuinely improve her life. Eventually, Victoria and Lily prepared to leave. "Jake, we can't thank you enough," Victoria said. Lily, more composed, added, "I've never felt this free. It's amazing." Jake smiled, feeling humbled. "I'm glad I could help," he said simply. They carefully moved toward the street, Lily now, confident in her ability to navigate the city safely. Jake walked beside them, ensuring they were comfortable. As they reached the corner, Victoria turned and handed him a small envelope. "Just a token of our appreciation," she said, but Jake waved it off, insisting it wasn't necessary. He was content